I'm Simon Ditchburn. I'm the Managing Director of the Tudor Group of Companies, and I'm once again in the Easy Panel insulation factory, which is just outside Pattaya. Now once again we have an entire floor all ready to go through that sandwiching process. They'll be putting this onto a truck later today and sending it up to Bangkok. But I'm not actually going to film this process again today because I think you've seen this in earlier videos. So we're today going to take you back onto the building site and cover some areas that you haven't yet seen. In this series of videos we put a lot of emphasis on the precast wall, and I'm sure it's really very much going to be the future of the Thai construction, but interestingly enough it hasn't been my choice for the external wall. The external walls, I've gone straight back to the UK traditional construction where we build everything as a double wall, a cavity wall. We have the insulation block, the thermalite block on the inside, and the concrete block on the outside with a 2-inch air gap in the middle, allowing the circulation of air between the two. Now, the thermalite block on the inside is just like an aero chocolate bar. It has thousands of small air pockets inside that block, and it's the trapping of the air that makes it so successful as being an insulation block. The concrete block on the outside is a much tougher, hardier block, much better to be a weatherfront block. And of course, probably most important is the 2-inch air gap in between those two blocks. It allows the circulation of the air to run right the way through the outside walls, and that's going to make everything much more efficient for you, saving your electric of your air condition when you're running, and that's exactly what you want in a hotter country. We've been installing the services right the way through this floor, which will lead down through the shafts, eventually into the basement and away into the septic tank. So all of these services here will be taking away the water from the drains, the sinks, the showers, and of course the kitchens. Now the building has been designed so that each one of the rooms actually sit back to each other. It makes things more efficient because I have 2 rooms sharing one shaft, and that shaft will go right the way from the roof down into the basement. But it does mean the least amount of rooms putting water into those pipes. Less water into the pipes of one single shaft means less chance of blockages, especially when I can put the largest pipes I can within that shaft. I'm standing on the opposite side, the outside of that same shaft now, which is basically in the corridor. So as well as the 2 bathrooms being back to back so they can share the shaft, the bathrooms are also designed to back onto the corridor. So we can put the access panel in the corridor, which makes nice easy access to read the water meters, which will be here, but also easy access to make any repairs. The U-traps have been put into this area so that if you do have to drain off or relieve a blockage that may be there, you can get to it through the corridor instead of having to go into the rooms. So you have to understand, if you're in floor number 5, your pipe work is actually running through in floor number 4, and it's not practical for you to be able to go down into floor number 4, knock on his door, excuse me, can I open your ceiling and repair my plumbing? It just doesn't work. So we've learnt with experience to make sure that those U-traps are accessible from the corridor, so you don't have to bother your neighbours. Now, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this part. This is the arrival, our first truck actually, the arrival of all of the floor panels for the next complete floor. The plan is to unload that truck into our holding area, let the truck then go back to the depot, and I have then just 2 days to install all of those panels. On the morning of day number 3, the next truck arrives with another load, and that will continue for about 2 weeks. Now that's enough pressure, but the aim of the game here is we only have 2.5 weeks before the big Christmas and New Year holiday. So I've got to install this entire floor right the way through in a very short time period. So under a lot of stress and pressure. We'll see you next time.